oh, come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray, family, that you are extremely well in all your ways, and that you have found your place of peace, that you have found your place of calm, you have found your balance, family, and that only comes through spiritual soul healing, mental healing, knowing what this whole world is about. And today I want to talk about the real theme for Africa for 2025, from 2025 actually. What is, because I shared, I think last week, the theme that the African Union has come up with, which is reparations and I think some kind of justice or something for what was done. But, there's been a very interesting discussion in the comments and everything. These are not the people who will give us that liberation, family. They're not the ones. And we're not looking for reparations because we cannot get justice within the system that oppresses us. Not oppressed us, but continues to oppress us till this very day. But before we even get into that, special shout out to the sponsor of today's show. Let's hear from him.
Trying times from the pyramids to the projects. Thoughts and poems addressing critical issues of our times, spiritually written to scientifically engage the reader into our higher consciousness. Remove the veil of deception, the importance of the Black family and all families. Evil has no place in our emerging new season. A poem in the book titled, Israel Goddamn, moving the individual and ultimately humanity to a higher state of existence. Available on Amazon.
Welcome back, family, to Wake Up Africa. That's Greg's book, Trying Times. If I had a book club, that book of poems would definitely be in the book club. I highly recommend you check it out. It's available on Amazon, and it is packed with keys and gems that just expand your mindset. And, if you're interested in sponsoring a show, definitely get in touch, mumbi.saraki@gmail.com. And thanks to every single person that has reached out to sponsor a show. We appreciate, love you so much. So, as I was saying, family, the theme from here on out for Mama Africa is total liberation, is true independence. Because we're realizing now that we were conned, we were hoodwinked. We never gained any kind of independence. In fact, most of the leaders who came in around the 1960s when all the countries were getting independence, it was actually a shift of the Mzungu system from the colonial system, where it was the foreign governments like Elizabeth and all these people, to the neo-colonial system where the Mzungus on the ground actually now wanted their independence because they felt like they were giving too much taxes for the tea and everything that they were thieving from the indigenous people, that they actually triggered, the fake revolution. And I've talked about this on this channel before, family. And we can see that nothing changed. Those who thought they were going to change their nations were swiftly assassinated. And I've talked a lot on this channel about how, they talk about how France, for example, assassinated almost 22 African leaders, allegedly. I mean, now there's so much information that is emerging about the Alphabet Boys and how the CIA and the MI6 and all these guys have been, playing in Africa's politics, getting rid of the leaders we want and putting in the leaders that favor them. And so now we are at this time, family, as we get ready to enter our golden age, which is a return to ourselves. The only theme We don't want those things of reparations and everything. No, independence. How does reparations work in a system that is still oppressing our people? How do we get justice from nations that are still exploiting our natural resources and becoming more blatant about it and triggering wars and instability in countries like the Democratic Republic of Congo so that they can get the coltan and the gold and the iron ore that they need for their advancements? It can't happen, family. We're lying to ourselves again. And we have to remember that life is a cycle. They took us out of colonialism, which was hard power, which meant guns and torture and raping and killing, creating a traumatized society that could be easily ruled over through fear. Then when there was a bit of rebellion to that, they had put their systems in place. And in countries like Kenya, they had already taken, they had already created their boule, where they came to the villages and saw, and handpicked the children of chiefs, the children of teachers and healers and seers, and put them through their systems of priesthood for the seers and the healers and administration and all these things, and brainwash them by disallowing them from speaking their mother tongue, and even connecting shame and trauma, because there were certain Catholic schools, family, here in Kenya, where if you spoke your mother tongue, you were beaten and you were punished. And so these new boule who were later to take the administrative positions, because the Mzungus were like, okay, here's a paper. All of them are Lancaster papers. Kenya, Ghana, they all have the same thing. Uganda, all wizardry, literally, family. So they were like, okay, here's your independence. And since you now have to run this system with our health, with our governing, the mental, we were never given it was continuous. It was like they just handed us over the neo-colonial system. And they had the brainwashed boule who were ashamed and felt superior and had really been made to believe that the indigenous people were ignorant and barbaric. And I mean, if you look at some of the history that people were being taught in the 70s and 80s, it is wild. And so these self-hating coconuts were put in charge of the system. And they were welcomed into the country clubs. And they were welcomed into the Masonic lodges. And they were welcomed into this. And so they became the cloned. They were the first clones, family, on the motherland. And a lot of these dictators, we're still getting dictators till today. Like our very own William Ruto family, who is literally like Mobutu Sese Seko reincarnated. They handpicked the worst of the worst, the most corrupt, the most disgusting human beings to run our industries. Then they introduced them to the disgusting rituals that we hear about that the P. Diddy's of this world were engaged in, that Hollywood is heavily engaged in, with children and rituals and blood and feces. And they literally just cloned a certain segment of our community or society and empowered them. And those are the ones who have been doing their bidding for peanuts, for pettings, for selling the inheritance of an entire nation. Like here in Kenya, I think we're told less than 20,000 families control the entire economy, everything. And it's not them, family. But it's such a small, less than 20,000 people can be hoodwinked to own a few farms here and there, to own a few houses in Dubai, in London, in whatever, and sell out nations that have resources that are worth trillions, quadrillions, that if they had been guardians of, they would have been on a whole other level. Because let me tell you something, family. The boule that was created in the motherland, if they do not maintain this system, everything is going to be pulled from them. Like here in Kenya, the Kenyatta family, they're so involved in trying to make sure that the Babylon system doesn't collapse and that the globalists have their way. And they've been set up as the wealthiest, like a kind of royal family, fake ass royal family. But shock on them if they fail to do the bidding, all those things, all that wealth, all the industries that they have spread even to other countries across Africa, the plug will be pulled on them. It takes one scandal to kill, like, their milk industry, showing that they're putting funny things in it. It takes one scandal, family. And these boule who have sold up the motherland for so long somehow think that they are the Mzungu. They are invincible like the Mzungu. They don't realize that they're the house slaves. They somehow think they're superior to others when they're actually the most inferior. And they're blinded by their greed, their internal wars, because they're all fighting each other, family, killing each other, doing all kinds of, performing all kinds of rituals on their families, because they have to worship Mammon and Moloch. Moloch is that Canaanite god that loves those children. And so we are so highly favored, highly optimistic for the motherland, which even the name Africa, within 100 years, that name will be gone. But we are so enthusiastic because over 75% of our population is of this new generation. I don't want to call them Gen Z because that's even just trying to diminish and label and control what can be labeled and controlled. The return of the ancient ones and the ancestors is through the children, and they are finally here. And so the way we see the motherland now, if you've been a beneficiary, kiss that life goodbye. Kiss what you've seen, because everything is changing. We're moving into a new dispensation. And the only theme for Africa until it's done is independence. It's not like at 2025 we'll deal with reparations. How far will that go? When we're already in mid-March and nothing has happened. All of these are just phantoms in the sky, but we want that real independence now. And we are the generation that's going to do it. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, family. These are very exciting times, but we must heal ourselves, understand ourselves, balance ourselves out, reconcile ourselves, restore ourselves. Because there's a whole motherland that needs to be rebuilt, reconstructed, and it happens through us. Anyway, special shout out to Greg. Definitely check out his book, Trying Times. It's a book of very powerful keys, tools, and resources. And let's end the show with a word from him. Until next time, family. Tuko pamoja.
Trying times from the pyramids to the projects. Thoughts and poems addressing critical issues of our times, spiritually written to scientifically engage the reader into our higher consciousness. Remove the veil of deception, the importance of the Black family and all families. Evil has no place in our emerging new season. A poem in the book titled, Israel Goddamn, moving the individual and ultimately humanity to a higher state of existence. Available on Amazon.